On Tuesday, we did a worksheet on naming, 5-5. So this is a really brief introduction to naming. So you're supposed to use these charges. You don't have to memorize anything. It's right here. So if I have strontium, which you'll have, it's 2+. If I have aluminum, it's 3+. If I have sulfur or oxygen, it's 2-. You just use this chart. What you're supposed to do is write out the ions when using the table. So here's calcium and bromine. I'd find calcium, it's 2+. I'd find bromine, it's Br. Now I don't have the names here, so you will have to have a periodic table to find the names. 2+ because it's in the second column, which is 2+, and 1- because it's in the 17th column, so it's 1-. You rewrite them. Rewrite the initial ions in the middle column, add cations and anions. Cations are positive, anions are negative, to make the two charges the same. So when I started, I don't have this Br. I only have one Br and one Ca, and I go, oh no, I only have 2 pluses and 1 minus. You add another minus, the charges are now the same. Show the number of ions in the chemical formula. So I have a calcium ion and I have 2 bromine ions, and I have that little 2 subscript to show that I have that. And then finally write the chemical name. And the chemical name is the element name for the metal cation and the anion, which has an IDE at the end, so I write calcium bromide. So here, if we do this one, we want to go strontium. Remember I told you strontium was Sr2-, and oxygen was 2-, and this is 2+. All the cations are plus and the anions are minus. So then I write it in here, and I write it here. And then you add more of them in order to get the two charges balanced. So here I had to add one of those and one of those. That gave 2-, because this was already 2+. But in this case, I'm just going to switch colors. It is already 2+ and 2-, so I'm all done, which means I only need 1 and 1. So I'll have an Sr and O. And then you rewrite these, but now you're going to do a formula. So you have S, strontium, and oxygen. And your job is to add this IDE ending on there. And there's a little note up here that says you may do it wrong, but I'm okay with that. So you could get rid of the N, so it would be oxide. You could get rid of the gen, so it would be oxide, or you could get rid of the igen, and it would be oxide. And that's the actual pronunciation of it, is oxide. So it's going to be strontium oxide to go there. So you have to do the same thing in this one with aluminum and fluorine. And when you're done, you'd end it with, instead of INE, you'd end it with IDE, fluoride. All right. So these two, you're going to have a little number in them, just like this number. You're going to have a number for this one and for this one somewhere. So give that a shot. Remember, you're just supposed to be trying. This is super important. I did a reasonably good job explaining this, but people skip it all the time. So we have this notation that tells me the charge. So if I have something that says silver with a 1 in it, I want you to write Ag1+. If I say gold with a 3 in it, then I want you to write Au3+. I will tell you what the charge of the cation is. Down here, I'm showing you that there are lots of different kinds of cations for the same element, and so telling you what they are is important. So in this case, don't know how to do that. I'm trying to make my pen smaller. I have copper and I have oxide, which is 2 minus. I have a Cu, 1 plus, Cu and O2 minus, and then I know that this will be Cu and O, it'll just have some numbers in it. So it's all set up, it all looks the same, but this right here tells me that I am going to have a 1 plus in here, because that says 1 on it. This means 4, so you're going to have a 4 plus. I need to balance that, which means I need another copper. So I have a 2 minus and a 2 plus. So what do I have now? I have my 2 pluses versus my 2 minus. It's all balanced out. And so I wrote 2 coppers, so there'll be a 2 there. And an oxygen. Okay. For honors, what you have to do is write all this out without knowing what this is. I put a question mark in there. I know that I could put an X in there. We just leave it. I know that metals are positive. I have these 3 oxygens. So in this case, we start right in the middle. We don't start at the beginning, we don't start at the end, we start right here in the middle and just rewrite this formula in terms of charges. So if I think about this, what charge will this be? Well, I know that I want this to be 6 plus because I have this at 6 minus. So I want this to become 3 plus so that I get the chemical formula that says Cr2O3, and then if I wrote that, that would be chromium 3 oxide. Okay. All right, and finally, in the last one, we're using this table to help us identify things. Let's see, we want to do Control Shift R. I think, nope, that didn't work. I don't know how to do this. Now let's try. So right here is sulfate. And so that sulfate is shown here. And what you have to do, let me go up here and change it back to text. Oh, I don't want text, I want scribble. What you need to do is read what this polyatomic ion is, and then use it just like it's a regular ion. So if we look at the examples, there's a 1 plus and a 1 minus. So I write 1 plus and 1 minus. So I have balanced the charge, and so I just write it out. Notice the 3 is still there. This 3 is not part of our balancing, so it stays there. And then I write the 2 words, lithium and nitrate. Nitrate because that's what it is. It's right there. Magnesium, and then this thing, but I'll need 2 of them so that I get a 2 plus and a 2 minus. And then I put the 2 on the outside with parentheses. So however many you have, use parentheses to say how much. We got to find hydroxide. That's actually in the table, but below where I'm looking. So that came from the table. And then finally I have aluminum, and I have this, we called it sulfate. And then you balance the charge again. This is 6 plus. This is 6 minus. Again, I didn't use this little 4. It's not part of what I'm thinking about. I put 3 of these sulfates by using parentheses. So 3 sulfates inside parentheses. And then I write aluminum and sulfate. All right, that's it. Honors, don't forget you have this to do. And look, they're transition metals, so you have to use the rules we learned up here at the bottom of the transition metals. All right, that was a start for getting you going on this worksheet.